So, hello everybody. Welcome to yet another installment of our Nights and Weekends Toolbox series. With me today, we've actually got Zach Kalman from Rimble for our Nights and Weekends. Zach is the product manager for ConsenSys Design and Rimble UI Library. Zach, why don't you tell us a little bit about Rimble?
Hi everyone. Hey Zach. Rimble is a project that has been part of ConsenSys for about 8 months now. Rimble's a set of tools designed to help you build decentralized applications quickly and with outstanding user experience. Today, our main offering is Rimble UI. It's a UI library that is really crafted with dApp developers in mind first. So in Rimble UI, you'll see a lot of the standard UI components you might expect from any library like this. Buttons and cards and form elements and the basic things that make up most app interfaces. But you also get components addressing dApp-specific UX patterns, so blockies and public address and QR codes and transaction status alerts, buttons for MetaMask and Uport, and we're adding more of these things all the time. Rimble UI uses React.js, and it's designed to be easily themed and extended. And the design patterns that we offer are grounded in our own user research and testing, as well as continuous input from product teams, building dApps who we're talking to every day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that, especially like the continuous sort of refinement of the patterns based off of your customers. It's really awesome. I guess like my next question would be like, what's the biggest problem that it solves, right?
So like a lot of developer tooling, Rimble aims to give you more time. We want you to be able to focus on what's unique to your dApp, and so we've designed and tested and shipped a lot of the groundwork already. That problem we're even solving at a deeper level for teams, offering even greater value with our next kind of big offering beyond Rimble UI, which is our Rimble Web 3 components. These are actually drop-in components that provide common dApp UX patterns and functionality right out of the box. So, to start, you'll get patterns like a network connection indicator or Web3 enabled browser alert banners, wallet connection prompts, and you'll basically be able to import a component, configure a few inputs, and then it's ready to add to your app. So saving time for the developer is really something we're highly invested in. But at a higher level, Rimble we aim to improve kind of the macro ecosystem of Ethereum blockchain applications. So Rimble aims to bring continuity and familiarity to user experience across the ecosystem. So if, maybe the biggest problem that in dApp user experience in general right now is a lack of user trust, right? And dApps introduce loads of new patterns, connecting to a wallet, initiating a blockchain transaction, communicating transaction status, and all of these different teams that are building apps in this space are approaching these problems differently. So users don't have that opportunity to build familiarity with those patterns, and therefore there's just this lack of trust that's a blocker to adoption across the board. So what we're trying to do is provide teams with an easy way to implement research-driven design solutions to these really common challenges. And then as more teams use Rimble or take similar cues to the design patterns that we're using, users will start to see some familiarity and eventually trust in the technology as a whole.
I love that. I mean, the building the trust, I think, is going to be such a big deal, especially if like one of our hypotheses, right? That DeFi is going to be one of the killer apps of 2019 and beyond to kind of get that full user adoption. That's going to be a big deal. So that's fantastic. So let's say that they're interested, they're sold. I know I am. Like, where do I go to get started on Rimble?
So it's pretty simple. You can go to our website, rimble.ConsenSys.design, and that gives you some simple instructions on how to install the NPM package, links to our documentation site. It gives you examples of components and some of our initial design documentation. We're aspiring to give a lot more in the way of design and content guidance. So not just how the components function from a developer standpoint, but how designers can use them in different ways, what best practices are for broader UX patterns, and then what words to use, how the language in these components in these interfaces is so critical to how people are understanding and becoming familiar with these experiences. So we're aspiring to add more and more of that to our documentation site. Check that out. And then our GitHub repo as well. So all of that's linked from our website. And then keep an eye out for the Web3 components that are coming soon, even as soon as in the next couple of weeks, and as well as demo apps that we'll put out periodically over time to help with things like hackathons and bootstrapping projects and showing some of these components in context.
Fantastic. Cool. Let's say that like I get started, where is the primary ask for help? Like if I need some help getting a component to work or something.
So we're open source and we definitely welcome any, submit an issue on GitHub. If you see any bugs, obviously we want to address those. But just questions help. We're a dedicated team working on this, and really want to remain engaged with the community and be responsive to needs as people are starting to use Rimble. We also have a Spectrum chat that we opened up that will be linked on our website as well, and from our GitHub. So if you don't want to submit an issue, but just want to have a little bit more of an informal conversation, that's a place to do it as well. And again, we really want to hear from folks.
Awesome. And I will include that. I'll include links to the GitHub, the documentation, the site, and then I'll get the Spectrum chat as well and put that in the show notes so that people can find that probably at the bottom of this video, which will be perfect. I guess my last question is, how does this power nights and weekends? That's kind of what we're obsessively focused on at right here. It's not necessarily, this is not your day job. This is something that you're building within the margins of your life, your nights, your weekends, et cetera. How does Rimble power that?
Well, I mean, if you have a side project, if you have an idea that you want to prototype, if you think you have something that's really of value, Rimble helps you focus on that. We're aimed at addressing some of the most common challenges in the DApp ecosystem, and so if we can give you a component or a functional component or a presentation component for a button, if there's anything we can do to save some time in your process, that's what Rimble's here for. So we're continuously striving to provide components, provide tools, provide guidance that takes as much as we've learned and as much effort as we've put into building out this suite of tools, and kind of direct all of that to the people who are pushing the boundaries of what this technology can do, and allow them to focus on pushing those boundaries and not necessarily focus on the kind of building block steps of connecting your wallet or initiating a transaction or those types of things. So we want to save time. We want to help save you time and allow everybody to do this good work.
I love that. So you're just give the people an amazing base level layer of experience, and then let them focus on the amazing capabilities of blockchain. That's fantastic. Well, that does it for us. Zach, thank you so much again for talking through Rimble with us. Again, I'm going to put all the links in the show notes. And I would encourage everybody, please reach out to the Rimble team, get involved, and let's build some amazing stuff. Thanks again. Bye.